Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unmask the secrets hidden in plain sight. And today we're diving into Fortress Credit Realty Income Trust's latest filing. And let me tell you, it is all about the value of their properties, or as they call it, the net asset value. So what is the big deal here? Fortress Credit Realty Income Trust, which we'll just call Fortress, has released its net asset value, or NAV, as of the 30th of November of last year. Think of NAV as the company's estimated worth if you were to sell off all its assets and pay off all its debts right now. It is like the ultimate balance sheet snapshot, and they're giving us this info on the 16th of December 2025. Let's break down what this means for their different classes of shares. We have Class B shares, which as of the 30th of November had a net asset value of $20.1013 per S-share. This is the price that reflects the underlying value of the company's investments. Then there is Class R with a NAV of $19.9591 per S-share. You can see a slight difference here compared to Class B. We also see Class J -2 shares with a NAV of $19.95 per S-share, and Class J -4 shares are valued at $20.1833 per S-share. Notice how these NAVs vary slightly between the different share classes. This often comes down to different fee structures or investor types. Finally, Class E shares were valued at $20.0775 per S-share. These numbers are important because they tell us what the company believes its assets are worth. Now, let's really get into the guts of Fortress's value. Their biggest asset by far as of the 30th of November is their commercial real estate loan investments, totaling a hefty $1,901,203,000. That is almost $2 billion tied up in loans for commercial properties. Following that, they have $460,120,000 in investments in real estate related assets. This could be things like ownership stakes in properties or other funds that invest in real estate. But like any company, they have debts. Their secured debt arrangements are listed at $1,084,511,000. This is a substantial amount of debt, showing they are using leverage, which can amplify gains but also losses. After everything, their total net asset value, the overall estimated worth, comes out to $1,220,914,000. So they have about $1.2 billion in net assets. And this net asset value is spread across 60,864,000 outstanding shares. This gives us the per share values we saw earlier. Let's look at this by class. See how the total NAV is distributed. For Class B shares, the total net asset value is $496,957,000. These Class B shares represent 24,722,000 individual shares. And that brings us back to our $20.1013 NAV per S-share for Class B. For Class R shares, the total net asset value is $89,142,000, spread across 4,466,000 shares. Moving on. Class J -1 shares have a total NAV of $315,692,000, with 15,811,000 shares outstanding. Then Class J -2 shares show a total NAV of $66,966,000 from 3,357,000 shares. Class J -4 shares have a total NAV of $100,566,000, representing 4,983,000 shares. The Class S shares have a total NAV of $21,632,000, with 1,073,000 shares. Class I shares are valued at $103,989,000 in net asset value, tied to 5,158,000 shares. And the Class E shares have a total NAV of $25,970,000 from 1,294,000 shares. Adding all these up, we get that $1,220,914,000 total net asset value distributed across the 60,864,000 total shares. Now, let's compare this to the previous month, the 31st of October of last year. Their commercial real estate loan investments were $1,778,379,000. This shows a significant increase in their core lending portfolio over just 1 month. Investments in real estate related assets also grew from $331,268,000 to $460,120,000. That is a nice bump in their other property-related holdings. Their restricted cash, which is cash that can't be easily accessed, stayed relatively stable, with $114,364,000 in October and $110,397,000 in November. On the debt side, their secured debt arrangements increased from $934,424,000 in October to $1,084,511,000 in November. This indicates they took on more debt, likely to fund those growing loan investments. And the overall net asset value in October was $1,173,931,000. So from October to November, their net worth grew by roughly $47 million. Not bad for a single month. Looking at the per share NAV for October, Class B was at $20.0772. You can see a slight increase to $20.1013 in November. Class J -2 shares in October had a NAV of $19.9277, also showing a small rise to $19.95 in November. Class I shares were at $20.1421 in October, ticking up to $20.1625 in November. The total NAV at the end of October was $1,173,931,000, with 58,597,000 shares outstanding. Now, all these numbers are reported by Fortress Credit Realty Income Trust and signed off by Abraham Dreyfus, their Chief Financial Officer, on the 17th of December 2025. So, what is the story here? Fortress Credit Realty Income Trust is in the business of lending money for commercial real estate and investing in related assets. They're growing their loan portfolio and beefing up their other real estate investments. They've also taken on more debt to fuel this growth, which is a common strategy in real estate finance. The NAV is climbing and so are the share values, which is generally a good sign they're doing something right. However, a big chunk of their funding comes from secured debt, and that debt balance is growing. This leverage can be a double-edged sword. If the real estate market takes a downturn, those loans on their books could sour, and the increased debt could magnify those losses. For investors, it is crucial to watch how carefully they manage this debt and the quality of those commercial real estate loans. They're essentially betting on the continued strength of the commercial real estate market. Overall, Fortress is showing growth, but growth funded by debt always comes with a higher risk profile. Keep an eye on their loan performance and their ability to manage that leverage. Alright, that is our breakdown of Fortress Credit Realty Income. Trust's latest filing. What is your take on these NAV figures and the company's growth strategy? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.